G'day, welcome to Car Design Workshop. My name's Kevin. This is a channel where we'll be going into the design, manufacture and development of sports cars. It's something that I've been passionate about for about as long as I can remember, and something that was really sparked at a very young age. And what I want to do is I want to start with some of this. So this was a card game that I was given as a young child. Very much like Top Trumps, it was called something else at the time, and you know the basic premise. So we would have a bunch of cards, you would be picking up your most recent card and it would compete against your opponent. The idea was that you would look down this list of numbers about a car, whether it was the power, the size of the engine, how much it weighed, or all of these details, and you would decide which one you would pick in order to beat your opponent. And I learned a lot about cars through this. If you scan through these cards, you will find that there is a lot of interesting English cars, some that are really good looking, some that look like they've been hit by the ugly stick. If you wanted to win, it was best to have a German car, and there was something really cool about V12 red Italian cars. So I thought we'd have our own Top Trumps game and create our own cards. So let's start with our first car. This is an Austin Healey 104. It's a beautiful sports car, British sports car from the 1950s, beautiful aesthetics, and a gorgeous looking car, reasonably quick too. In its day, it was really well regarded for the acceleration capabilities and the top speed capable for what was a road going sports car. So clearly, this is going to be hard to beat. Well, let's see what it's up against. Oh no, this is real trouble. This is a 2005 Subaru WRX station wagon. And while it doesn't have the attractive 1950s aesthetic of the Austin Healey, when it comes to numbers, it has it all over the Healey. It's faster, it accelerates harder, has more power. It's got all-wheel drive, so it puts power down on four wheels instead of just the rear wheels, and there's even more of it. And it even gets worse for the Healey. This Subaru has 5 seats, air conditioning, a decent stereo, decent seats, crush structures, roof racks, room for groceries, and even an electrical system that actually works. By all objective measures, the Healey is a worse car. But there's more than that. In between the loose steering, the low grip, the smell of petrol from undoubtedly leaking carburetors, the heat that's coming up from the transmission tunnel that threatens to burn your legs, there's something about that Austin Healey that makes it a far more engaging car to drive. You'd never want to daily drive it, but every drive in it is memorable in a way that you just don't remember drives in that WRX. Now, I've got to level with you. These cars weren't chosen at random. That WRX is currently my daily driver, and the Austin Healey is my father's car. And the Austin Healey was a particularly inspirational car for me growing up. It was, when I was quite young, it was a present from my mother to my father. It was a car that they should never have bought. They should never have restored it. It was being used as a parts car. It was in really bad condition. There was more rust than car, which is not uncommon for a 1950s British sports car. And it took many years and far too much money to restore the car from the state it was into the car that you see here. But this car left a mark on me. I would go down to the garage where it was being stored, and I would spend large amounts of time just looking at the car, looking at the shape of the car, appreciating how it was made, all of the parts. I was fascinated by all of the mechanical parts. I got in trouble because I tried to rebuild the carburetor, and I wouldn't know how to rebuild a carburetor now, let alone when I was just a kid. And while the car excited me, I was far more intrigued by the story of Donald Healey and his team of people that had put this vehicle together. It was an exciting story of a group of people taking parts from other Austin vehicles and putting them together into a package that was light and beautiful and really blew people away in the Earl's Court Motor Show. It was a car that competed in track races, in rally and speed events. And that process of taking your mundane parts that would be on commuter cars and trucks, and putting them together into something impressive, something new, something creative was just inspiring to me. It's a part of what really reinforced me on this journey of wanting to become an engineer, and in particular, somebody that wanted to work on cars. I got my opportunity to really start learning how to design cars when we started a Formula SAE team in the University of Western Australia, and we built these little yellow cars that did reasonably well. We went and did well in Australia and well in the US. And out of that, I continued working in a PhD, focusing on design approaches, particularly with vehicles, and spent a little bit of time in the motorsport industry. And now I teach in a university and teach in a motorsports course at Edith Cowan University. But that desire to build a road-going sports car has never left me. And as time's gone on, I'm now older than my father was when he got that Austin Healey. And while it was difficult to start learning how to design cars as a 20-year-old university student, the resources available to people learning are so much greater now. There's just some really inspiring people on YouTube. There's some really good books out there. And I thought it would be good to add to that noise and maybe share some of the experience that I have, but also track a project that's very near and dear to me. And that's what I hope this channel will become, a place to discuss the design, the manufacture and development of road-going vehicles, where we can look at the vehicle systems, the processes behind them, the manufacturing techniques, and everything that's involved in bringing a project like this to life. And undoubtedly, this car, like the Healey, is going to cost far too much, take far too long, and perform worse than a car I could just go out and buy. But if this project appeals to you and you like the idea of learning a bit about design and seeing the mistakes on the way, then please feel free to subscribe. So I'm looking forward to seeing where this project goes, and I hope it's something that you can enjoy following. Thanks for your time.